Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me on this live stream. I'm really excited about this, and I want us to look at common work ethics. I've been talking a lot about work ethics, and I'm glad I'm able to share a bit about what I've been talking about. But today I'll put everything together so that we have a look at everything I have spoken about and some things that I haven't spoken about. And without wasting much of your time, I'll go straight to the live stream and talk about the things I'm about to talk about this morning. And in terms of starting our conversation this morning, I would like to look at what what makes this work ethics and values. What things am I looking at? When it comes to values, you'll hear a lot of employers talking about respect and fairness. And we will look at these things in a bit of details. So, what is respect and fairness? Then, when it comes to integrity, you will find that every employer will request that whoever they bring in on board will have integrity. But integrity also comes with trust. How can I trust you? Do I trust you enough? How is your integrity? Do you show me that you do what you say what you do? There's something about teamwork. How good are you in the midst of other team players? Remember, in a work situation, we don't work alone. There are many other people that we will work with. How do you gel with the rest of the teams? Then there is communication and transparency. How do you communicate? Do you check the diversity of the teams or the people you're working with to be able to communicate so that people feel they are respected? Then there's something to do with the results. Every employer will set goals at the beginning of the year or beginning of different quarters, depending on how the goal setting is done in this place of work. So, are you result driven? When you have goals that have been set for you, do you deliver? Do you check on them to ensure that you deliver on the results that have been set for you? Then I've talked about diversity. There is something called diversity and inclusion. We are all different. So, how do you deal with diverse people? People from different schools, people from different walks of life, people from different races, people from different tribes, depending on what is diversity from where you sit. Then there is employee engagement. How engaged are we, or are we wasting time in the workplace? Then there is work ethics, going by work ethics. There is reliability. How reliable are you? Discipline. Are you a disciplined person? Then integrity. I've talked about integrity on values. You'll find it in values for majority of companies because they want people who have integrity, people they can trust. Productivity. How productive are you? Then when it comes to the work that you are doing, are you dedicated enough? So those are a few things that I want us to look at. And I'll start by talking about respect and fairness. We have institutions that have created a culture with mutual respect. This means from the leader to the bottom, people respect one another. So it is mutual. Remember, we are working as members of teams. Get to know one another. When you join a certain institution, make sure you learn the people you have within the teams. That helps you when it comes to fairness, to respect. You treat them better because you know where they are coming from. You know them. Learn about your differences. We all are different. There are certain things we don't like, but you'll go to a place and these are the things that are being done. So learn, and that's how you accept the people you're working with within the teams. Then promote good manners. Good manners. Every other place requires good mannerisms. How do you behave with people? Do you go out of your way to annoy people? I'm sure you have worked with such people that you will wonder why they are out of their way to only annoy you. Then let people work differently because we are all made differently. We went to different schools and we have different ways of working. And that's where diversity comes in, where I bring in my authenticity, you bring in yours. We are all creative, but there's promotion of people that work differently. Then maintain boundaries. I'm sure you've worked with people who never respected boundaries. So, in terms of values, respect people's boundaries. If you do not know people very well, don't do certain things that may annoy them. And even when you know them, maintain those boundaries. Be a role model for respect. What do people know you for? Are you a respectful person? Do you respect everyone and anyone? How do you treat the people you find manning the door? The gatekeeper, the receptionist, the person who brings the tea. How do you treat them? Be a role model for respect. And if you do that, then you will be remembered having been this person that was extremely respectful. Then, when it comes to trust and integrity, work when you are supposed to, socialize when you are supposed to, search internet for your own personal pages when you are supposed to, because internet can be a huge distractor. When it comes to your personal phones, let your friends and family know that you're working. So you can't pick all phones. I'm not saying you put your phone off. There are certain important calls that you must receive during the day. You might be a family person, and there are calls that are important that you might have to pick. But we need to respect the employer's hours. And that comes with integrity. So show respect to co-workers and appropriate conversation and empathy. Your co-workers may be going through different things. How empathetic are you? Do you show that empathy? It is part of trust. They will trust you when they see how you are treating them. Remember, there is a saying that says that goes, people do not care how much you know until they know how you treat them. So, how do you treat people? Be empathetic. Then adhere to company policies and procedures. All companies have policies and procedures. So, respect that. It comes with those work ethics and values. Then be responsible. Do what you say you will do, and say what you know you will do. So, you are being a responsible person. And people are not getting to know you as the person who says this but doesn't deliver. People have to wait for you to do it, to believe you. Another thing that we fall short of is using work materials for work, not for personal use. Yes, you'll get things within the workplace that belong there that should be used for work. They are not meant for your personal use. Remember, the employer is paying you. So things that are supposed to be used in the office, let's leave them for office use. Then be accountable. If you make a mistake, own up. You have seen situations, even at at many homes, where we make mistakes, things happen, and nobody is willing to own up that they did the mistake. It starts with us. So if we make a mistake, let's own up. It's called accountability. Then work as a team. Be a contributor of the team. Don't be known as the lazy member of the team, because this builds the trust and shows integrity. Because you are a team player and you will make sure that you contribute when the other team members are contributing. Don't, sorry about that, don't accept praise or acclaim for somebody else's work. I have seen situations where people want to receive praise or acclaim for someone else's work. If someone within your team did something, make sure it is known that they did it. So don't accept that praise for something that you didn't do. Somebody else did it. So integrity requires that we say, a member of my team did this. And when making business deals, we've been caught up in situations where we don't put everything on the table. But integrity requires that when making business deals, everything should be above the table. You'll be known for integrity. And you'll also have peace, knowing that everything you did for this employer was above board. In terms of trust and integrity, there's this saying by Chinua Achebe that says, one of the truest tests of integrity is its blunt refusal to be compromised. Can you be compromised? Teamwork. This is a question that comes in all interviews. You'll be asked if you're a team player. And because you have prepared for the interview, you will talk about being a team player. But in the actual workplace, are you a team player? How do you work? So here are some things that you may consider if you want to be known as that team player, as that contributor to the team's success. One is communication. You are clear, you are efficient in the way you communicate. It is essential as a teamwork skill. And this includes verbal and non-verbal. How are your emails? Are they polite? Are you seen to be shouting? Do you think through? Do you proofread? So that the time they reach the recipient, they are correct. They have no grammatical mistakes. Then problem solving. How are your problem solving skills? Effective teamwork requires team members to have problem solving capabilities. You don't have to wait for every other member of the team to come bring in solutions for problems that have occurred. Be creative, offer solutions so that you are a valuable member of that team. Then planning and organization skills. Can you plan? Are you organized? When I see your work, can I see planning? Can I see organization? And planning comes with keeping time in terms of project timelines? Are you this person who cannot complete anything on time? So planning and organization means that when you're given project, you will do them within the timelines. Decision making, just like problem solving. Can you decide? I'm sure you've worked with people that cannot make any single decision. I'd rather you make a decision and make mistakes than delay projects because you cannot decide anything. So, teamwork requires that you are a good decision maker. Conflict resolution. As teams, because of our diversity, we are different. We went to different schools. We are brought up differently. There will be conflicts. How are you at conflict resolution? Team members must act as mediators. Are you the person who fuels conflicts, or are you the person who is bringing in that peace? Before even conflicts escalate, can you be able to solve those problems within those teams? Reliability. How reliable are you? If I take leave and leave you to do a certain project, will I sleep well at night knowing that I left a reliable team member to work on the project that we were having? Then respect for each other. I've talked about diversity and inclusion. It calls for having respect for each other. Doesn't matter if you don't like me, respect me anyway. Doesn't matter if we have disagreed in the past. Respect me. I will respect you. So respect for each other is a skill that is required when there is teamwork. Tolerance. We must tolerate team members. There are people that you'll think or feel they are annoying, but we must be able to tolerate them. Honesty. How honest are you? Within a team context, are we honest enough? You see, if you're not honest, how will you even achieve your goals and be productive in the long run? So we must be honest. Empathy, I've talked about it. Teamwork comes with collaboration. Being able to collaborate with other team members. Then communication. I've talked about communication, but now we are talking about communication and transparency. You have seen these people that hide a lot of important information. So as you work in an office setup, some of the ethics and values is communication, that is proper communication and transparency. When you are getting roles or jobs are being divided or goals are being set, there will be clearly defined roles. So you understand your role. And that's part of transparency. Even from your supervisor's point of view, they need to clearly define the roles. Then having regular meetings with the team members so that you discuss whatever is happening, whatever you are doing, so that you don't hold on to meetings at the end of the year or the quarter where people have made particular mistakes and you're talking about the mistakes at that end of the year. We need transparency in an office setup, which calls for that um, regular meeting, regular discussions. Make time for question and answer sessions so that people get comfortable. If they are stuck, they can be able to ask those questions. It is important for communication and transparency. Don't leave anything out if it's important to make the teams work better. Then are you result driven? When you get goals, are you looking at delivering the goals? So have the right mindset. Be diligent at even correcting feedback. Don't always wait for people to give you feedback. Correct the feedback so that you correct and you make amendments to places that require amendments to be done. So be open to those communication. And then when working, it is important that we also learn different tools that help us work better. I've talked about diversity and inclusiveness in all the decisions that we make, even as colleagues, even as supervisors. We must make sure that there is inclusivity. Let people not feel um, let people not feel that we are not inclusive enough, or feel that they are not being given the due respect. They should not see any bias, and also check about those unconscious bias. At times we will be biased, but we do not know because they are unconscious biases that we have. So when checking on bias, check what bias you have as an individual because of where you are brought up or how you are brought up, the things you recent when you are growing up, in which case then you grew up with a certain bias. So when you come to the workplace, you will need to listen to those biases and work on them. Um, you see, your organization is a community, and these communities that we have within an organization are drawn from different places. So that's why diversity and inclusion is key. And you never stop learning. Keep learning about diversity and inclusion. Currently, there is quite a lot. There is LGBTQ. Do you have those people in your teams? How do you treat them? Remember, if you're in a place of authority and there are these people within your teams, they have to be respected. We are talking about diversity and inclusion. And that means everybody is included. They cannot be left out. You have to be careful when you communicate because of that diversity and inclusivity. Then engagement, employee engagement. So in most cases, this might be driven from the top. But in this channel, I've talked about leadership not only being from the top to the bottom. You will be a leader in your particular station. What are you supposed to deal with? You need to be seen to be a leader as you deliver on what you are working on. We need to set the right tone. Do we have a vision? What do we see ourselves being at the end of the day? What are we becoming? Then, if there are changes and they have been communicated, we must make sure that we adjust accordingly as members of teams. Then I'll just look at the role of a manager in employee engagement. It was part of this uh, this training of ethics and values. So if you are a manager, you must create an environment where every individual can thrive and truly be engaged. I have seen situations where managers will give their favorites work and leave a few people. And so at the end of the year, when we are doing performance management, obviously the person who didn't get enough work will have performed poorly because they didn't get enough work. So as a manager or a team leader, make sure that every individual in your team has enough work to thrive and truly be engaged. Then build good relationships with each employee. That is, if you are a team member, you must build relationships with each employee. Don't be seen to be favoring people that are seen to be in your team or people that you like. Serve as a sounding board for employee feedback and suggestions. We do not know everything. I have said here in this channel that as managers, we make a mistake sometimes of assuming we know everything. We don't. Their team members will come with great ideas. So let's be just the sounding board for that employee feedback and suggestion. Let's recognize and celebrate individuals and team performance. Let's continually give performance feedback. Let's not wait for the end of the year. Let's help employees develop and grow. Remember, as team leaders, we are not just giving work, we are helping our team members to grow. And then you as an employee, what is your role in terms of engagement? Providing honest, candid, and actionable feedback about what is not working. You will get work and you are struggling. You know it's not working. Be honest, be candid, give feedback to your team leader so that if there is something that needs to be changed, it can be changed before a lot of time has been wasted. Then brainstorm new and creative solutions that address, concerns that you may have. Remember, when we advertise most of the jobs that we advertise, we say we are looking for people with creativity. Don't bury your creativity. Bring it out by being honest, candid, and giving feedback. Then engage in meaningful relationships with your team members and the managers that you have. Then in terms of work ethics, I've talked about reliability. And basically it is doing what you say you will do. Don't commit. If you're not ready, don't commit. Then be timely. If a project was to be done at a certain time, make sure you do that. If you can't do it for various reasons, please make sure that you communicate and communicate in advance. Don't wait for the deadline of a certain project and say you cannot complete it. Do it in advance. That's what reliability is in terms of working with different people. Be responsive. If I send you an email, even if you're not dealing with it immediately, it is polite to just say, I have received your email, I am working on it. Simple. One line email. I acknowledge receipt of your email and I'll be working on it in due course. Then be organized. I've talked about being organized, meeting deadlines, being accountable. Take responsibility for what you say and do. If you did something and it's a mistake, own up. It's called accountability. Then following up. You have sent your supervisor certain things. Maybe they didn't see. Have you followed up? Follow up. Don't assume that they saw they are refusing to respond. Follow up. Then be consistent. Can I know you for consistency? Don't deliver this differently and then tomorrow you are giving me a different thing. Be consistent. Become someone that everyone can rely on because of your consistency. Then discipline. People will ask, oh, I've been disciplined at home when I was young, when I went to school, Yes, this world has no place for indiscipline. We must be disciplined. And discipline calls for self-control. We will be self-controlled to conform with organizational rules and regulations. Then we will be willing, we will be determined and willing to promote how to carry out instructions, even when we don't want. Sometimes you'll see team members that don't respect their team leaders at all. But discipline requires that you carry out the instructions that are given. If you can't work with a certain team leader, it means then you may not fit in that team. And it's time to think of probably an exit plan. But don't make it so hard for your team leader to operate. Manage time in an effective way, and being on time every time. I'm sure you've been to a place where you can't start a meeting because some team members were late, and they are always late. People will talk of traffic. Traffic? You can't be talking of traffic every day. If you have a meeting at a certain time, you know, unless an accident has happened. But if you tell me about traffic today, next week, I will know there's a problem with your discipline. So discipline is completing each task at the preset time frame. You won't be asking for extension every time. It is also the ability to stay focused and on course. Discipline always um, always makes sure that you keep commitments. We are determined to keep going, even when it's tough. I'm sure you have had me saying that you must be courageous. Do it afraid. Discipline requires that you do what you have been requested to do. Then we look at integrity. What am I looking at when I talk about integrity? It's being thoughtful of others, being patient, being helpful, being self aware. You know, you are self aware, so you know how far you can go. Being trustworthy and honest. You are respectful. You have sound judgment. You know what you can do, because you are accountable. That's integrity. You have good morals. If you come for an interview in my place, if I'm going through your social media pages, what am I seeing? How are your morals? I know how the society currently is, but I am still sure there will still be people that stand up and be counted for good morals. So work on yours. Yeah? Doesn't matter how the surrounding is, how social media is. Work on your morals as an individual. At the end of the day, even if we are talking about teamwork, we are individuals. So can we work on ourselves? Do the right thing and be gracious while at it. So when I talk about having an employee that is productive, and we are talking about productivity, what am I looking at? I'm looking at a person who focuses on high priority tasks, a person who reserves 20% of their day to work on important tasks. There will be very difficult and complicated tasks in your job description. Can you reserve 20% of your time when you are not distracted to work on that? You will clean your workspace. That's productivity. You will minimize distractions. You'll have a plan for meetings. You're not the person who will call for a half an hour meeting and prolong it. 2 hours later, you're still in the meeting room. What are you discussing if you had a plan for the meeting? Write down your thoughts, because then they build what you will do within your working time. Then create systems so that you are known to be this person that does this at this particular time, does this at this other time. You deliver things in a systematic way. And focusing on one task at a time also works. I know we've been talking about multitasking. Sometimes multitasking doesn't work, especially for those things that are important and urgent. You cannot do two such tasks at the same time. So we need to be very careful even when we multitask. Then we must be dedicated. Can I see that dedication? Remember when you interviewed, you said you are dedicated, you are determined, all those words. You know those keywords we talk about when we are talking about preparation of the ATS friendly resume or CV. But that's a topic for another time. How dedicated are you? Do you arrive early? I know you'll say, oh, I don't arrive early because I leave late. The organization has certain rules. If work starts at 8, just get there at 8 or before it. Stay organized. Can you take an extra project if there are different projects to be done within your institution? Can I see that dedication agreeing to be useful in the organization? Are you able to show enthusiasm and initiative? My former boss used to say, do you have fire in your belly? And you are continually seeking improvement. I've been talking a lot about coaching ourselves for success. You are not the person that is waiting for your employer to send you for certain courses. You are going out of your way and working on training, getting trained, joining a live stream like this one to hear what Polly has to say, joining other live streams with other coaches out here that are making them available so that you are continually improving yourself. Lastly, providing exceptional customer service. And we are not talking only about the external stakeholders that you deal with. It's about the person next door, about the girl at the reception, about the man at the gate or the lady at the gate. It's about your juniors. You are providing exceptional customer service with a lot of dedication, with respect. You respect everyone. Then, parting shot, what you get by achieving your goal is not as important as what you become by achieving your goals. Let me repeat, what you get by achieving your goals is not as important as what you become by achieving those goals. That's a saying by Zig Ziglar, that even as we work towards those goals, there's something that happens. It's not only the goal that is important. What do you become in the process? You know, trusting the process. And we are what we continually do. So the more we work at it, the more we work at being organized, at being respectful, the better we become. Remember, we are work in progress. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, please make sure you write them in the comment section and I will deal with the question. I will respond to every question that you put out there. But if you're also new here in this channel, remember to like, to share, and to subscribe to my channel so that you're notified anytime we have such live streams or we post any of our content. This has been your host, Polly Mwangi, and I'm a human capital consultant. Thank you.